Let us welcome to the stage our two-star executive, Mr. Joe Davis.
You know, this is a great opportunity. I love being out here, love being in front of you guys today. I'm really excited. And definitely what I want to talk about today is this, winning. And that's what I believe everybody came here to do, is to do what? Win. And see, a lot of times people don't win is because we don't give ourselves permission to win. You really have to get out of your own way. And what I want to do is this, because one of the biggest things that gets in the way is a lot of people want to be comfortable. See if everybody, do me a favor. Can I get everybody to stand up? Everybody. All right, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to walk back over here. I'm going to walk back out. I want to hear everybody yelling as loud as they can on the count of 3. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1. That's a lot better. That's a lot better. Because see, the key is this, what I tell everybody. You got to be willing to get uncomfortable if you really want to win in life. And a lot of times people don't win is because you want to be comfortable. And one thing I'll say is this, I've never seen a winner sitting down. Does that make sense? So if you want to win, it's time to get uncomfortable, time to roll up the sleeves and give yourself permission to win. There's a story about a guy who wanted to win. He wanted to be successful, so he went out and got a success coach. And what he did was this. He asked the success coach, what does it take to win? You guys can sit down now. You guys sit down now. I like that. That's great. That's great. That's great. And he asked the guy, he said, what does it take to win? What does it truly take to be successful? And the guy didn't really give him an answer. He said, well, I thought you were a success coach. I thought you could tell me what it took to be successful, what it takes to win. He didn't give him an answer. He said, well, tomorrow, put on your suit, get dressed up, and show up at the beach tomorrow. And the guy had no clue what was taking place. Why am I getting dressed up to meet this guy at the beach? And he brought the guy to the beach, and the guy had on his swim trunks and a T-shirt. And he said, follow me. And the guy started walking out into the ocean. And he got to the first bar, and the water hit him around his knees. And the guy kept walking out. Now, keep in mind, this guy's a little bit taller than the guy that's following him, right? So he gets to the second break, and the water hits him about his waist. He says, keep walking. Then finally, he gets to a point where it's about the third break, and the water's chest high, and the guy's starting to get nervous. He's in the suit. Didn't even ask him if he knew how to swim. He said, keep walking. Got to that fourth break, and the water was literally at his nose. And he told him to keep walking. And he finally got to the point to where his head went under the water, and the guy held his head under the water. And you can imagine, he didn't know this guy. He was panicking. He was hysterical. He almost lost his mind. He had no clue what was going on. This guy's trying to drown me, is what he thought. I'm about to die out here in the ocean. The guy, you can imagine, he's squirming, he's flailing, doing everything he can to get what? Air. And finally, after a few seconds, he let the guy get up. And he let him come up and get some air. And he says, now you know what it's going to take for you to win. Because when you want to win as bad enough as you want to breathe, that's when you'll win. When winning is not an option. And see, that's the reason why a lot of people don't win, because they make winning optional. It's an option. Who cares if I didn't win today, I'll win tomorrow. If I didn't win tomorrow, I'll win next week. Anybody know some people that talk about next week more than today? Somebody who said, I'll get started next week. Anybody know somebody said, well, next month I'll have it? And see, the most common reason why people don't win is they want to be comfortable. They never really give themselves permission to win. First thing is this. The reason why I had everybody stand up and yell is because, you know, we want to sit back. We want to relax. We want to be comfortable. Understand, in order for you to win, you have to get out of your comfort zone. And if you don't want to get out of your comfort zone, I promise you'll never win. Because how many people's goal is to leave this national and make the amount of, whatever's your dream amount of money? How many people will be happy making $5,000 a week? Anybody shoot higher than $5,000 a week? You see, you set your own dreams. This is really about what you want to make. You got to have goals. And see, a lot of people, they get involved in the business, and they just hope this thing happens. You don't really have a landmark. You're not shooting for anything. Every day looks like the same day. You're doing the same thing. And understand, if you're doing the same thing and you didn't get the right results yesterday, guess what? You're probably going to get the same results the next day if you're doing the same thing, but it's probably because you're doing what you're comfortable doing. And a lot of times your success is just outside of your comfort zone. And when you get to that point to where you're not worried about being comfortable, winning means more to you than breathing. Understand, you're going to have to give up some things in order for you to win. A lot of people think that you can win and be who you are today. I can hang out and, watch my TV shows. Understand, most of the time, watch this. Who wants to guess when they put the most popular TV programming on TV? When most people are at home, right? They pick those days for a reason. So guess what? If you're watching those TV shows while most people are at home, is that a great time for you to be growing and building your business? I can guarantee you 90% of America is at home during Scandal. Anybody watch Scandal? Yeah, so definitely. If you're watching TV, then you're missing an opportunity. They put these things on TV for a reason. Winning comes with the price. And you have to give yourself permission to win. If you don't give yourself permission to win, you're going to sacrifice. You're going to give up some things. But that doesn't mean you give them up permanently, because you're going to get those things back. What you give up, you get back. Say it with me. What I give up, I get back. And see, that's key. That's the key. A lot of people think you give these things up forever. No, you're going to get it back. Give an example. I gave up golfing with my old golf buddies. Problem with golfing with my old golf buddies, they were great guys, but they didn't have the same aspirations that I had. And understand, when you're hanging around with people who don't have the same aspirations that you have, guess what ends up happening? They hold you down. Because when you're supposed to be at the meeting, they're trying to get you to go hang out. They're trying to get you to stay at home and do this. But when you have a goal and you have a vision, what are you going to let stand in the way of your goals and dreams? Is it going to be that family member that tells you, why are you doing this business? Some of our worst enemies may be sitting right next to us. Some of them may have stayed home. Some of them didn't come. Understand, what are you going to let stand in your way? You're going to have to give up some things that comes with a price. Winning requires a commitment, and it takes focus to win. It's going to be a commitment. You're never going to get anything you want in life unless you commit to it. A lot of people just want to, that's the biggest challenge for a lot of people, is making the commitment. And a commitment is when there's no turning back. Either I'm going to climb this mountain, or you're going to find me dead on the side of the mountain. Does that make sense? When you're willing to give up everything to have what you want, that's the only way you'll get it. When it means more to you than life itself. Because a lot of people right now, we take the business and we're going through it, we're nonchalant, we're comfortable. Well, I want you guys to really, really get uncomfortable. Let's do it one more time. Everybody stand up. I want everybody to yell as loud as you can. And we're going to say POW is number one. On three. 1, 2, 3. Wow, how good that feel. Give yourselves a round of applause. And see, it's going to take you being more than what you are today in order to get the things you want to have. And I'm going to tell you, it's a process. Nothing worth having just happens. There is not a circumstance. It's not an accident. You won't stumble upon greatness. Anybody know any great football players, basketball players, athletes, entertainers, musicians? How many people think they just showed up and became great that day? No. Michael Jordan missed more shots than he made, but they said he was the greatest of all times. Muhammad Ali lost some fights, but they said he was the greatest. And the biggest thing we live in a microwave age where we want it right now. Nobody wants to go through the process. They say it takes typically 10,000 hours before you can consider yourself an expert at anything. My question is this: how many hours have you committed? If it takes 10,000 hours, are you halfway there? Are you a third of the way there? Are you a tenth of the way there? If not, what are your aspirations? What do you want to be good at? What do you want out of life? Because I say this, people say this business, I don't think it's a business. I think it's a way of life. It's a culture. You truly love and embrace what you are, who you are in this business. They see you're a networker. I'm a person that networks. What's the difference? And see, you allow the business to define you. No, you define the business. I love it. I love it. I love it. Entrepreneurs, lifestyle. How many people would like to be able to get up and do what you want to do when you want to do it? So see, that's a casual response. That's way too casual, way too casual. If that's your response to getting up and doing whatever you want, whenever you want to, spending how much you want to spend, whenever you want to, you can't do it sitting down. Because that's one of the biggest reasons we want to do it sitting down. Understand, you can't be in the game sitting down. Anybody ever seen the star player sitting down? LeBron James is in the game in the crunch time, right? And see, a lot of people in the room today, they don't realize it's crunch time. It's crunch time. right now today in your businesses and your lives, because don't wait on that moment. We live in a society has taught us to expect more without giving more. That's selfish thinking. How can you want more without giving more? You want to be exactly who you are and have those things that you could never have being who you were. How does that work? Can you get more and not give more? If life is a scale and it's going to always balance itself out, if I don't give more, how can I carry more? It's going to what? It's going to tilt, right? And if I want more, I have to do what? Give more, right? And the reason why a lot of people don't have more because they never give more. If you want something different, do something different. Stop listening to the radio. Has anybody learned anything constructive? Listen to the radio. Listen to audio CDs. Do something that's going to feed into you. What's going to make you better than you are today? If you're not compelled to get better every day, then you're losing time. And that's the most precious resource that we have in our lives is what? Time. It's not money. We can always get more money. What can't we get more of? So the business to me is not about the money. It's what the money can do for you, because the money gives you the what? Time. Most people don't have time because they're chasing what? Money. What happens when money's not the issue? You have more what? Time. How many people would like more time? Well, watch this. If you want more time, then get more what? Money. And it's a simple equation. We want our businesses to grow just without us growing. To expect something for nothing is mentally that cripples. In our society, we've been trapped into a thinking to where we should just get something because we are who we are. There are a lot of systems in place that are designed to just give you stuff. And the problem with just giving people stuff is what? They never learn how to work for it. There's no accomplishment. You didn't put in any work. There's no effort, no energy exhausted, but yet you receive. So if people get in the habit of just getting stuff without putting anything in, what happens? It creates a handicap and it cripples you to think that I don't have to do anything, but I can get a lot. That's a mindset that will definitely cripple you. Personal growth. 3 categories of people in our industry. I'm going to go through this really quickly. 3 categories of people. First one is the beginners. Everybody in this business, when they get started, first time, they're going to be a beginner. Everybody. Beginner is the person who got started. They saw a presentation. They got really, really excited, and they said, man, this is perfect. They treat the business like a lottery ticket. Anybody know anybody who thought the business was a lottery ticket? Have you hit the lottery yet? And see, that's the mindset. Everybody gets involved. They think that, man, you know, if I get lucky, I hope this thing works. If this thing happens, I'm going to go out and talk to my first 3 people. They make a list. We tell you to make a list of 100 people, 200 names. They make a list of 3 to 5, and they talk to those 3 to 5. Their entire business is dependent upon what happens to that 3 to 5 people. So if you've recruited some people and you're wondering what happens, the 3 to 5 didn't go right. Everybody falls into that category, and hopefully they'll get lucky. Because that's why when you make that phone call, they just invested some money and you can't find them. You're like, they just invested $3.99 3 days ago and I can't find them today. Anybody ever had that happen? Yeah, that's why. Because they got involved thinking it was a lottery ticket and didn't understand that it was a business. And we have to make sure they understand that it's a business. Next level is this. Amateurs. This is what happens. They may get lucky, have some success. So now they're making their list. Their list expanded from the beginner phase, and now they're actually calling a few more people. They had some success. They got lucky. And that's what they think the business is about, getting lucky. So they do the basics. They created their list. They'll talk to some people, but they never truly invest in their business. And that's why their business never really grows. I tell people all the time, when people call me, they say, well, Joe, my business has stopped growing. Well, I say, well, have you stopped growing? When you stop growing, I guarantee you, your business will stop growing. And that's the key. You always want to be growing. What are you feeding yourself? Who are you listening to daily? One of my favorite motivational speakers is Les Brown. Anybody know who Les Brown is? If you don't know who Les Brown is, find out who Les Brown is. Next category is a pro. A pro is a person who says that I'm all in. Because the difference is between pros and amateurs. Pros get paid for what they do. Amateurs don't. And if you really want to use this business as a career, how many people would like to have a career where you get to travel the world and write it off as a vacation? How many people would like to be able to make as much money as they want and nobody can dictate and tell you how much money you can make? What I love about our industry is this: it has no discrimination. Doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, how fat you are, how skinny you are, how tall you are, how short you are, how divorced you are, how married you are, how healthy you are, how sick you are. It's going to pay you out the same way if you do the work. How many people like that aspect? It doesn't care if you're a male or you're a female. Everybody gets paid the same. So that's the key. What are you willing to do? Everybody's the most level playing ground on the planet. What are you willing to do? The journey. And this is the key thing. There's a book I want to talk about really quick. Anybody read the book? We always recommend it. It's called The Dream Giver. And in that book, it talks about somebody named Ordinary. And it talks about a couple of key points. Nobodies. Everybody starts out in life as a nobody, and they live in the land of familiar. Familiar represents your comfort zone, where everything is going to be great. Familiar is your typical job where you get up and you go to work, you come home to your typical home, you probably eat the same typical meals. Not a lot changes in familiar, so you become real what? What's the key word? Starts with the C. Comfortable. And understand, no growth can happen in comfortable. But there's something that burns within you, and that's why everybody's here today, because something is burning within you. You saw this opportunity, and it made sense that you saw an opportunity for yourself to change whatever it is that you want to change about yourself. I love our company as Precious Metals. You can't beat it. We have the best product. I believe we have the best comp plan in the industry. But I tell people, there are people who are dealing with coffees, lotions, vitamins, juices, magic potions, fairy dust, etc. in this industry. But understand, they didn't get involved for the fairy dust. They didn't get involved for the coffees, the vitamins, juices, lotions, potions, magic tricks, gimmicks, etc. They got involved for the dream. The key thing is the dream. And how many people have a dream? We have precious metals, but how many people like the idea of where precious metals can take you? And that's what I loved about the business, is where it could take me. Now, your vision is personal to you, and everybody needs to have a vision. You have to have your why you're doing this business, and that has to be unique to you. It has to be bigger than the money. Because how many people know if it's only about the money, most people have been living comfortable being broke. So it can't be just about the money. Because we know most Americans are living beneath their means anyway. So obviously the money is not the end all. There has to be a bigger reason why. And when your why is like you fighting for oxygen to breathe, that's a different lifestyle. And see, that's the reason why a lot of people aren't successful, because it's too comfortable. You know you're comfortable getting a paycheck at the job. And I believe that a lot of different things taking place. And one of the safest places in America is a what? Job. Because if I go to work a certain amount of hours, they're going to pay me a certain amount of money. It's probably not what you want, but you're going to take it anyway, right? Because it's a guarantee. I know I don't have to do anything outside of these parameters, and they're going to pay me. But the problem with living in a job world is you're only going to get paid what they say you're going to get paid. So they're telling you, they put a cap on your income. How many people feel like the cap that the job is giving you is a couple of $100,000 short of what you deserve? Yeah, most definitely. It was designed that way. It was set up that way. And like I said, it has to be bigger than the money. Your dreams have to be bigger than the money. I'm going to prepare you for the journey. A couple of things here. My time is running out. Can you believe they only gave me 20 minutes? So I told them, give me whatever minutes you give me. I'm going to go 10 over is what I told them already, right? Now, first thing is this. You're going to face objections from other nobodies when you strive to be a what? Somebody. Because when you decide that you want to do something in life, you're going to have family members, you're going to have friends, you're going to have best friends that look at you like you're crazy. I'll tell you, to be honest with you, it happened to me. Because when I said, you know what, I love this business, this is what I always felt like I was supposed to do, I had some friends that told me, man, you're crazy, you're leaving a good job. Yeah, it's a good job, and guess what, they're still working? Those same good jobs. But guess what, they hate their jobs. How many people know people that hate their jobs when they talk about you for leaving your job and doing what you love to do? And when you're doing what you love to do, how many people understand it's not work? I don't feel like I'm working right now today. I feel like I would do this anyway. If I wasn't making money, I would do this anyway because I love what I'm doing. I'm not worried about how many hours I spend working my business, because guess what we really get paid to do? We get paid to talk to people. How many people know you're going to walk out here and talk to somebody anyway, right? So when do you work your business? Anytime you're around who? People. You don't know who you're going to run into that's going to see this thing bigger than you. And that's the key. And understand, you have a miracle in your mouth. And if you're not sharing it, guess what? You're doing yourself and the other person, even more important, the other person a disservice. Now, we already talked about family members, friends. Second, leaving familiar is scary. Because guess what? That's where you're comfortable at. And the problem is this, when you're comfortable, nothing can grow. You can't grow. And sometimes a lot of people who live in familiar, they're just hanging on to familiar. They're watching, waiting on somebody to break loose. Somebody has to carry the mantle forward. Nothing great will ever happen as long as you're comfortable. So the challenge is, how do I get uncomfortable? You have to be willing to challenge yourself. Now, familiar represents comfort. Familiar is where all nobodies live. Everybody is a nobody until you decide to become a somebody. How many people would like to become a somebody? Oh, that's not enough hands going up. How many people would like to be a somebody? How many people would like to have more money than they can stand? Anybody like the idea? That's better. That's better. Nothing great will occur as long as you're living in familiar. So do some things that you don't normally do. If you go home every Wednesday, take a detour, go a different route, stop somewhere. You may meet somebody that you didn't think you're gonna meet, but you have to do something different if you want a what? Different result, right? To do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is called what? Insanity. How many of you guys are living insane? You're doing the same thing over and over again, right? Third, you're gonna face giants. These giants are the biggest hurdles in your life. They're a test of faith. These giants will knock you down. Anybody ever been knocked down by a giant? And everybody, see, that's not enough hands. Everybody has gone through something: divorce, death, marriage. Marriage, you didn't think that won't be on there, right? Sickness, kids. Understand this, when you have a goal in your life, there are gonna be things that will come up in the way of your goal. And just because things come up doesn't mean that you have to give up. A lot of people, we turn what we believe to be negative things. We understand, nothing in life is negative. It's simply your perspective on what happens to you. Because you can take a quote unquote negative thing that happens and turn it into a tremendous opportunity. Divorce doesn't mean your life ends. Guess what? Now that means you have more time to work the business. Guess what? Now you get to find out who you are, right? Yeah, definitely. Death, and that's not including you, of course, obviously, right? But how many people know that if you work this business long enough, somebody around you is probably gonna die? It's called life. We're all living in life. And what you have to do is, I tell people, if you're gonna fall, you have to fall which way? Forward. Always fall forward. And no such thing as a loser. You don't lose, you learn in this business. And a lot of people, we've defined ourselves by our losses, and we've put our wins in a little bitty box, and we hide them away. But we remember every loss, every divorce, every boyfriend, girlfriend that's ever left us. We remember that we gained a few pounds last year. We don't remember about, we lost a few the year before. We think about every negative thing that's happened in our life, and people who are close to us tend to highlight those things, right? They always reminding you of the negative stuff. You want to surround yourself with people who lift you up, who make you better. And that's the great thing about everybody in this room, is that everybody's here to help make you better. Last thing, I'm going to wrap up with it because I'm already over my time. I'm probably getting some buzzes and different things I can play. Watch this. Anybody know the story about the 3 little pigs? We're going to test and see how well you guys know. How do we win? You have to build a solid foundation. 3 little pigs. The first pig built his house with what? See what you guys know. Straw. What's the problem with straw? Guess what? He wanted to build his house fast. He wanted to run through and put together straw. How many people know straw is light? Straw has no substance whatsoever. So guess what? When you build your business fast, you just want to run through it and say, man, it's so important for me to get here. I got to do this. And you want to hit the next level. Guess what? And that's all you're worried about, is how quickly can I get it done? But you built the business with no substance. The people around you have no substance. I tell people, if you want to build a great business, recruit people better than you. If you're the smartest person in the room, find another room. So you guys are laughing. How do you get good advice if you're the smartest person in the room? If you're always giving advice and nobody's giving advice, you're in the wrong room. That's the key, right? So you want to build a business with people who are better than you, people with substance, people who are going in the right direction, people with dreams, people with visions, not just people who want to be involved. Does that make sense? They want to ride your coattail to the top, right? Next thing is this. Easy things that are put together, guess what? They come apart easy. That's that person you got involved and now you can't find them. You're looking for them. And now you feel like you got to chase them. Like, man, I got to find Karen. I got to call Mike. I got to call John. I can't find them. And now you're looking for your team, but you didn't recruit people with what? Substance. Second pig built his house with what? See, some of you guys hadn't been reading the bedtime stories, huh? Second pig built his house with straw. Oh, sticks. Sorry, sticks. Good one. You guys got me. That was a test for you guys, right? Yeah. Ha. The second guy, a pig, built his house with sticks. Guess what? Sticks are a little bit heavier than straw, right? The problem with sticks is they typically don't come together very well. Can you imagine a bunch of sticks that are going in all shapes, all different directions, all over the place? So yeah, you put the house together, but there's no uniformity. Things are all over the place. You're going to pull one stick and the house falls. That's the problem with building with sticks. They don't mesh well. No uniformity, no what? Systems. Nothing keeps it together. Wolf comes by with a new opportunity, maybe selling tape, glue, sticks, who knows what, right? And you lose your entire organization because you didn't have a system. No uniformity. Everybody going in one direction. It's a great thing about all of us being in this room is now we can go in all in one what? Direction. Uniformity. Last pig, and I'm going to wrap up with this. The third pig built his house with what? No, silver and gold 100-ounce bricks. How many people have lifted one of those bricks? And the great thing about it, when you build your house with those bricks, the wind will not knock down your house. The wolf can't blow down your house. And what does that mean is this: you built the business, you had the system, you recruited people who had integrity, people who wanted more out of life, not just to get somebody in, you wanted people who wanted something more out of life. How many of you guys want something more out of life? I know you all do, because that's why you're here today, because you want something more, you need something more. Something has to change. Does anybody need something to change? Yes. Well, this is the key. Nothing will change unless you change. What are you going to do differently? Now, another thing about that last pig is this: what? He put his team, they built a team, and they had systems. Everybody was following the same direction. You had uniformity. Everybody was going in the same place. You understood. The most powerful thing in our business is the system. Simple system is this: get to, become a consultant. Everybody's on option ship, 100% option ship. What happens in your organization when you preach get to on option ship? You have 6 people on your left, 6 people on your right. Every month your coin is free because you have people in a what? System. Long as you're consulting and you're qualified, you're in a what? System. Teach systems and everybody will win. And that's the thing. Everybody going in one direction, following the same system. That's the key to winning. Now, that's my time. What I want to do is this. Before I close, I want everybody to stand up one last time. And I don't know how many of you guys have been on my webinars or been on any of my calls. I always end the call the same way. And I'm going to start and I'm going to see how many people can finish. You guys ready? I don't look forward to seeing you guys at the top. And it takes people with vision. That's my time. You guys have a phenomenal evening. Thank you and God bless.